All right, everybody, let's get into it for Monday. How's everyone doing today? After a good weekend? Shout out to the chat really quick. Victoria, David, Scott, Swooping Hawk, Samit, Breaks, everybody else. Welcome. We're here Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 12 noon. And we've got a couple things to discuss. How about market up plus minus 300, 500 last few days? S&P is up 93 right now. Nasdaq is up 360, and the Dow up, and not too bad, 500, 495. Few nice trading days, and we do have some patterns here. Look, we hit some numbers. We should get right into it. The big one's obvious, and again, no matter what happened the last day or two, doesn't matter. We're looking for longer term weekly developments. And so the key markets that we have been talking about for the last several weeks as the ones to watch, things like Microsoft down at 221. And I think that's a pretty insightful situation, because here's the hop level at 221.75. And the big reversal day, that low was 219. So as far as we're concerned, type 2 structurally has completed with hitting all the way down to the hop. That also means this has to be the low. That also means there's nothing under the low from 2 or 3 days ago. Is that an official type 2? Your confirmation for Microsoft is, I wish it was maybe over here to the right a little bit more, but look what happened. Sorry. Here you go. On that last dip down, you didn't have HSI move much. And actually Amplified and Standard RSI made a higher low. Can you get above this? I mean, could this be some kind of reaction? Maybe. I think the rejection off of 221.75 was pretty big. We've been looking at the whole area between 41 and 21, and have to say, okay, so far so good. And pretty clear under 21, it's much lower. So you are hitting those last ditch levels across the board. Few others. The other big one, the obvious one. Look, Tesla, completely realized now. All the way with that type 2. Now how do you feel about that bat pattern? How do you feel about harmonic patterns in general after spending the last few weeks riding that up, getting the type 1 reaction to complete, and then getting the type 2 return precisely back to that 208.79 level? Now trading 220. The larger move still in development. If this is going to be your bigger launch point for some kind of type 2 move, you're going to have to see. I have to address something with HSI here in a second, but you need to see at least amplified RSI over the next 2 or 3 days make progress. Now, I wanted to say really quick, not sure if these are related, but been having some data issues on eSignal, where HSI is not generating. That, one or two things have popped up on some patterns on some platforms recently, little bug issues. On a larger scale, really quick, something happened over the weekend on the TradingView platform. Just to let you know that try to stick with your saved layouts for now. We're working through something where if you try to generate a new layout or a brand new chart, it might delete the indicators and require that you reload. Want to just be clear about that. That's something that popped up over the weekend. All right. If you have any questions, send a note to support, please. But I forgot, before I get too much further, I needed to mention that. That's only with the TradingView platform, by the way. So get back to Tesla. So, okay, type 2. The return complete. And this is mostly weekly time frame. So again, still have plenty of time for this larger development to take shape. Are we going to get this to be set up for the larger type 2 to target to? That would be our general plan. Is this a massive continuation pattern for Tesla? Now we're at that 2 of 2 point. Keep an eye on it. 208.79, and the fact that, again, another one that absolutely rejected going lower than the 886. The low was 204.6. Sorry. Yeah, low was 204.16. We were targeting minimum 886 retest at 208.79. We're in week 1. Last week was terminal bar, folks, of the type 2. Think of it that way. So now we're in week 1 of the type 2 opportunity for Tesla. Couple more of these. There's some of the big semiconductors, like we've talked about Micron, have a couple of things going on where, you know, weekly bearish patterns, they've hit some big targets depending on the situation. But for Micron, you know, that was a 1, come back for the retest. And type 2, you've hit target 2 at 54. That's a pretty good sign of devastation. I mean, you go from 95 to 54. Think of it this way from a harmonic pattern framework objective. Okay, your target 2 being hit is the completion of that structural move. I'm not saying it's going to stop right here and it could continue to go lower, but I would think you start looking here. You start looking around 54. And on the daily, you've got a few things. You know, check out into that last sell-off this summer. You had a deep crab. This is a daily chart. And this one has done another beautiful 1, 2. Here's Micron doing 1. Okay, 2 on the bat pattern. The whole thing, 49 to 50 and change. 54 if you really want to have a wide zone. Keeping a real close eye on that, because not only the weekly setup with that bearish pattern could be terminating, the fact you have these back-to-back pattern dynamics stubbornly kind of showing themselves here at a very key level. Important. I'm watching that. Sure. Yep, I can go to those other ones. A lot of these techs are there. Some are not. Some are not working, really showing any signs of life, and I think they're to be avoided. Some of those I've mentioned before. Here's Meta. I'm not really. I still say this is like a 120, 116 proposition. There you go. Here's Meta. Big crab pattern. Software is kicking out a beautiful, massive pattern. Does it show up on the? Yeah, I think on the weekly is what we were talking about because it's bigger. Yep. So think of it this way. Facebook, your opportunity to own it on a super discount. Do you want it now? You know, I mean, for the last 10 years, it would have been great to have held the stock. Now, is this an opportunity? I'm thinking the fact that you had no response off of this HSI. I mean, you had that chance earlier this year, earlier this summer, when you came into this spot right there and did some kind of check back, but did nothing. Just go sideways. And now you're back down. Why not go hit the hop level like all of these other ones are seemingly doing? And yeah, I mean, even looking at this on the weekly, I mean, here's just another pattern going sideways, definition of harmonic dud. And you have HSI in the overbought, having not moved at all in price. That tells you how much kind of friction is in this selling here of the last many months. You know, last 3-4 months. It took a great deal of actual buying to even hold it up where it is. That's what that says to me. And if this rolls over again and your other indicators roll over again, you will get down to that 97 level, down to that hop level. Hey, Barney. Nope. I will give me a minute. I'll get to Netflix. Sure. Because several of these are in that spot where you have to avoid the complete catastrophes. Here's Zoom, another massive pattern. We were looking at that back in April, maybe June. Some kind of check back. I think it was on a daily, did nothing. Sideways. Same deal here, and you got to go to the daily. Although I don't know I'm having problems on the weekly HSI, but you have a little shark down here, and you're sitting right at the hop. I possibly look at this as a reaction here, but there's no confirmation. Look what happens. And this is another sign of something that has ugly price action dynamics that you have to respect, that you wouldn't see any other way. But the fact that we have this pattern completion, but there's confirmation, and confirmation with the check back finally occurs several bars later, but no follow through. In fact, this should not even really mess around once you finish the check back. 2-3 bars, that should be heading up. You fail those individual bars, chances are you're going to go lower, sideways to lower, and then you actually do go lower and somehow register 1 and 2 bearish HSI signals in a bullish zone. That always means it's going to take more time. If you see that, okay, probably scratch the trade and look for something maybe back down at the hop level. That typical behavior. And so for Zoom, daily, weekly, you need to come down lower to register something with the pattern. And that's another, there's been a few of these, because Zoom, probably one of the best performers early in the pandemic, came all the way back, went from 60 to almost 600 and full harmonic reset to the 886. Beautiful pattern. No reaction, no confirmation. That's what separates opportunities, which is kind of what I wanted to talk about today. What are some of those key things that make something an opportunity versus just a beautiful pattern that goes nowhere? Because that doesn't help you. Versus some of the better ones, some of the cleaner situations that we've seen here on daily level. Check out, update a couple of the shorts. Here's Uber. Okay. Had a few of them, Shark, Deep Crab. Let me isolate really quick. Let's just isolate the bearish patterns really quick. And Uber is probably going to come back down for another opportunity to get long, but we were talking about mostly this crab pattern. Perfect 1, 2. There's the 1. Come back for the return. And then right here, right there, 32 bucks was your HSI confirmation on the retest and check back. Now, something that I'm going to be talking a lot more about that is real helpful, especially on these type 2 return phases where we're in a type 2 return across the board. A number of patterns, major patterns coming back to retest, and they exploded on retest. Some of them did, like Microsoft or the Dow Diamonds. How do we know? Well, we really should have confirmation. In our current case, we don't have a heck of a lot of confirmation, but for Uber, we did have confirmation back in September. And if you look at the retest, how it came into the zone, really strong. I mean, there was not a, once we got back up and started moving off of this target 1, we went straight up into the zone for, what was that, 7, almost 8 out of 10 days till we hit the hop level. But the confirmation came a couple days later. Still, the one thing and easiest thing to do is to wait for one singular bearish candle. One candle that agrees with your pattern. Obviously, bearish pattern, looking for a bearish candle. Look at the initial test here of the crab pattern for the reaction setup, okay, for the opportunity. We know first test opportunities are looking for, we're looking for just reaction moves. Those are faster trades. Those are good for weekly option trades, quite frankly. But here was the confirmation or the completion of that Uber crab pattern. But the first bearish candle did not even come in until completing 3 days later. And that helps to guide executions where, you know, maybe terminal bar is 31.43, but you're really strong up into that zone. And then finally, bearish candle for the first time. Confirmation didn't come in till over here, but you see how the measured pattern, okay, think the first analysis. Think analysis first. Okay, and analysis ends at the sun icon right there. And to the right of that sun icon is where we start making decisions. But a lot of those decisions don't even have to begin until we get one candle. And that's why I've been saying this with the daily and the weekly stuff on this most recent decline, especially weekly candles starting today. We're going to go into, are we going to follow through or not off of last week? Yeah, last week was impressive, but is that a one-off or no? And I still say there's plenty of time. Even with type 1 reactions, you're still getting 3-5 bar windows before the major move unfolds. And then look what happened with Uber on the retest and confirmation. Then you go down to target 2. So final note on Uber, you're there at target 2, 2504, and look at what it's doing, going sideways. That's it. You're probably done from there. You're probably done on that. So far so good. I'm happy with that. There's a few other ones. The flip side of Uber is that you're actually retesting this bullish crab pattern that bottomed back in May, confirmed somewhat. Actually didn't confirm. Gave you bearish HSI. Oh, it confirmed back here. That's where it was. You did confirm in May on Uber. But we're real close. The 1618 is at 2261. Not quite there yet. Almost dipped down. We were, what's that candle there? 2294. So really close. Structurally, had we hit 2261, I would say type 2 retest, type 2 reversal starting. I'm watching this, really, I think Uber in an interesting spot where if it can come down, maybe register one more confirmation oversold, it would be a major opportunity. Type 2, 2 of 2. Whole bunch of these. I mean, it's pretty interesting that they're getting to their point now pretty quickly. Not all of them are giving us ideal confirmation. Some are. Yeah, here's that Netflix. Someone wanted to see Netflix. Yeah, look at that Netflix. Yeah, okay, we're up on that, probably that 239 level now. Oh, hold on. 1 second on Netflix. I got to change this. So Netflix, I think, was that shark on the daily with the hop level 240. We're 244 now. No, 252. Crab pattern at 252. Hold on. Did we get to there? We got to there. Amazing. All right, check this out. This is this is really something. I'm been seeing more of this. It's difficult. If you were manually trading that and you did not have, let's say you had some kind of short position, and we talked about it, getting a type 1 reaction down to 212. Well, this one kissed it. The exact low was 211.73 and did not spend much more than a microsecond down there. Now we're right back to the hop level for what we would say is the type 2. Yeah, you're now, the reaction's over. As crazy of a move that was, delayed, and we, kind of really delayed, but hit type target 1. So now on for the return, and maybe we run for the hop. Still need confirmation, but look for the hop on the type 2 return. That's only $8 higher. Nothing changes on that pattern. It's just that is a nasty type 1 reaction that can be really challenging, really super challenging. Probably could give all of that back if you weren't paying attention on that one. There's a huge gap above 250. Yeah, probably. I think there's earnings coming up too. And we have a lot of interesting, certainly a lot of interesting situations going on with earnings coming in. Where is this an opportunity? Like, here's Netflix, if okay, 244, trying to bust for the move. Here's the TradingView platform, folks, and Netflix showing the same pattern. But what we're looking for is the confirmation. So it's for us. I would have to look at the session from the week or two ago where, yeah, 252 to 212, come back. Look for the next trigger. Was that earnings today? I'm sorry. I'm really not watching too much of the, it's tomorrow. I'm really not watching too much of the news media to follow them. I do think Yahoo Finance has a really good calendar for earnings. And maybe I should line up some more of those for the next few sessions. But that's non-confirmation, so you're not doing anything on that after the reaction completed 2 days ago. Interesting stuff. It could be a spot where with some of these, if there's short-term call options into the earnings place where they're so oversold, even something like Microsoft, check this out. Let's go back to there you go. It's up 7 or 8. This is a major pivot point if it's going to be one. Look, again, even cleaner on the TradingView platform. And it's a deep crab, hop level, 221.75. Hey, that's a great example of the, the algorithms really showing you, exemplifying how they're the same on the TradingView platform or the eSignal. I think eSignal is got all the bells and whistles, but that it's a good example. Check that out. But we're at that hop where if that's a capitulation, exhaustion candle for Microsoft, it would have to basically go day over day and begin the march with that being a target 2 or a type 2 back to your target 2, which is 287. The mark would have to move a whole jump between now and, say, well, I don't know, end of the year. You would have to be saying that that's the bottom of the whole downtrend. If you're going to go with that, you're going to say that's the top, and you're going to say the bottom was 2 days ago. I'm not there yet. I don't like where the confirmation fails to come in, and so keep an eye on it. I'm looking at it. I almost picked some up right down there at the low at 220, 225 actually, but just shied away from it because of this thing's nasty. And catching knives is not really how I feel like you can really maximize or reduce the risk or potential drawdown. Still say that the larger zone is 241 to 221 on Microsoft, and I'll keep an eye on that. That would be one of the top picks of all of these, not only because of it's Microsoft, but because it's a perfect type 2 deep crab pattern. Really quick, everybody, I want to just highlight something. Please go to harmonictrader.com and become a basic member. You simply just go to Harmonic Trader and click enter your email right here, register now. And then go to the basic members page. I need to make this really clear. This basic membership is free to everyone. Once you register, sign up, all you need is to submit your email. Okay, all of the downloads and the trials are available here, including the books. Those are free too. There's no credit card required, and I don't ask if someone tells you that they're me asking you for money, run, okay? Because I'll never do that online. I don't do that. Don't do the soliciting. And the basic membership with all these resources is free, and then get the software trial, especially for TradingView. Okay, start there. I think there's a lot of new people that have come on board, which is great. Many from other trading groups, and I appreciate all of that, the good referrals. Start there at the TradingView with the TradingView platform. Send your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com and get that 14-day free trial. And you see it. We've got this. It doesn't matter if it's the eSignal or the TradingView. The algorithms are the same, based on all of the pattern work that I've done for decades. And you see how the patterns are back to back, lining up quite nicely across the board. Get that Microsoft on. We will come back here by Thursday saying, okay, yeah, this is a go. I mean, this is going to give us some kind of reaction. What's the official? The 25th. It's earnings. Here's one or two more I wanted to highlight. Here's this mosaic, folks. And this is done a perfect 1-2. We were on this earlier in the year, and then I got out of this. Remember, this is the one I got out of early. I got out right before target 1, and look what it did. It hit target 1 and got rejected off of it, so I wasn't feeling too bad. But now you're coming back against the shark, another type 2 setup, getting close. Almost got there on the first run. Second attempt got really clipped on Friday. So let's see if we can get down there. Interestingly enough, even though I like this and I'm still waiting for that retest, I know this needs more time because HSI is just breaking under the 50 now. Be patient with that one. A lot of these are getting closer, but they need more time to set up like that. Couple more before I jump over to crypto. Yeah, I mean, the crypto space, I could probably segue with a couple of those. Let's look at Mr. Saylor. Let's go to MicroStrategy as we segue over to crypto. What's going on? He's what were we doing? Well, nice crab pattern. That's your daily chart. That's the last 90, 100 days. What's the weekly look like? There you go. And I think with this, yeah, this one is at or sitting. Yeah, this one did hit the 886. So here's MicroStrategy. There you go. 886 is, right about 220, 230. Right there, and you're right around that 886. So trying to stabilize down here. I'll keep an eye on it, but I think MicroStrategy and a lot of these crypto situations, even the chip situations, all these bear market situations are faced with that. Until you break out of that downtrend, I don't you can do any kind of thrust reaction you want, but if you're going to expect some kind of major cyclical turnaround, it doesn't even start until you get well to the right of that downtrend. The other one, I don't know. I guess I'm bringing these up because people have been asking me recently about these. Like, here's Riot Blockchain. It's up 7% today, and it's a look, beautiful weekly pattern. Look at that. But check out what's happened so far. Here's the zone. Maybe this is why I think people have been asking me about Riot because of this pattern. But take a look. Here's, stop right there. Okay, pattern completion is there, but there's your confirmation on the weekly chart back in June 21st. That's a perfect check back and reversal. But despite going up 6 weeks in a row, it really didn't, I mean, it doubled, but it didn't explode. You know, nothing massive, even though it doubled. That's a great move in 6 weeks, yes. But for what this is coming off of, you know, that's a typical dead cat bounce. One point I want to just show in this Riot situation, especially for everybody that's using the software, and people have really relied on HSI as the confirmation variable for opportunities, harmonic pattern opportunities. This is a thing I've really started getting into last week, and it's another perfect situation that, again, probably going to roll out some resources on it, but can do it easily here. When we're looking for HSI, that's the arrow. So there's the bullish pattern there, but we're looking for the arrow to the right of that pattern as the signal, the trigger. That sets up, arrow goes, bang, turns on. Now, final phase is that you check back, you retest. If it's within 2 or 3, or if it's 7 or 8, those are some things I'm still sorting out. But when it's a tight check back like this, okay, and you retest, and here's the other thing, okay, after the successful retest, then I said, okay, give me 2 candles after the retest if I wanted to wait just a little bit more, if I just wanted to see a little more confirmation, or even better, if I'm in the trade at the check back spot, which is the trigger for the whole harmonic pattern opportunity, I'm feeling a lot better about the trade after 2 green candles. Something to consider. Take a look at that, especially on, say, 60-minute or 5-minute futures charts. Regardless, you only did a 6-bar run. And one of the limitations or one of the counter signals is that, hey, if you're going to trigger off a bullish HSI and you run into a bearish, well, that's a management signal. Time to bail. And then look for another shot. So that's where we are. Still not down there. You just broke under the 50 level on Riot. There's not a heck of a lot there. Give it more time. You need another signal in these. The last one was Mara. Up 14% today. Great. Something, but oh yeah. That's the last thing I put about Mara from a while ago, back in September, I guess. Little harmonic head and shoulders pattern. On a weekly too. And then you go back, look at this. Not that that's a devastation because this has already dropped 80%. Look at that beautiful pattern. Look at that beautiful crab pattern all the way at the top. Amazing. That would still take time, a lot of time. Where's the daily? Yeah, there's the daily. Yeah, I'm really not there with these to say, okay, hey, you know, this is maybe the 4-hour time frame. Let me remove this for Mara. Maybe tradable, but definitely range bound. And something like Mara is, look, deep crab from last week got rejected from almost 13 down to 1050. Nice move. but you better be trading that. And this one looks like it's on a return back to 13. We'll keep an eye on that, maybe a little bit for what crypto's doing. And let's go to crypto. I mean, what is it doing? Here's Bitcoin holding its head above 19,400. And it's this. This is your, there you go. Hold on. Wasn't this weekly? Hold on. Thank you. Yep, it was the deep crab. So now we have the back-to-back crab situation. Sorry, back-to-back pattern situation with Bitcoin. Now, what's it doing? We have a big deep crab pattern. We know with that larger zone, essentially the XA1618 is at 23,400. Confirmation came in lower. And now, as we've gone sideways for 60 weeks or more, no, probably, no, almost 100 weeks. 100 days, sorry. Where are we? 120 days, folks, since that low. Trying to turn up. Why? Well, we have a shark pattern. So this little mini shark pattern definitely helps the cause. Better than this closing under 18,000, which for us, you know, bumping stops is mandatory because there's nothing, a close follow through under 18, under 17.5, you know, that's, then you click off and you go to the weekly levels. This could screw around for a while longer. We talked about this last week that there's the completion point. It did this really sneaky type 1 reaction, really strong, up to 21,750, came right back down. And now are we going to try to do maybe a little mini type 2 to no way. At 24,427? No way. That's the target 2 for the shark, for where we are. I'll say this, you know, because this thing going sideways wouldn't be a surprise, where maybe 21,741 back to target 1 might be a more realistic objective. I don't expect this to be jumping back to the August peak anytime soon, but you know, since early September, this thing has not gone under 18,000 despite wanting to take a dip down there almost every day. That's insane. This Bitcoin chart, this is the thing about where I feel if this is going to be an opportunity in Bitcoin, there's plenty of time. It'll go sideways for a long time, especially on the weekly chart, and then trigger something. For now, let it ride. Let it surf 19.4. Someone asked me about a few of the other, like the GBTC. They haven't changed. They're just so, like Bitcoin, Grayscale, Bitcoin Trust, still just sitting on the zone at numbers where there's a harmonic pattern. And the fact that it's stabilizing just underneath the zone, I don't feel is a coincidence, but you haven't really seen any kind of reaction or response from that. In fact, look at your weekly RSI is a real disappointment because you hit the oversold and then go sideways with no buyers, no buying strength to get that off the floor. And certainly HSI, same deal. Can't even get close to 50. And then amplified RSI, which is that one, you know, that would be the first one that would have to move. And to do so, you need to see buyers. This is just more about, it's not even really about seller, it's just lack of buying interest. Other thing about this that I'm looking at where it certainly is running out of time for the way I would look at something like this. You don't want to give this forever. There's the pattern completion with the sun icon. First confirmation. Okay, so we start looking at the potential opportunity there. And then where's the second green candle? Actually, it's here, down here. So around 12. So 12, and you're scraping, you're at 1141, scraping the support. Am I thinking that's an opportunity? No, but I'll watch it. I mean, it's terrible. It's just really languishing at a beautiful zone, beautiful pattern. I would love to see this at least do several weeks of some consolidation, maybe between 12 and 14 or 15 bucks. Has to show some activity. You have no activity. Beautiful pattern with confirmation. Okay, but do you have a bullish 3-bar reversal anywhere? Not really. Do you have is the downtrend broken? Again, because another nasty downtrend, encompass those previous peaks, and you're trying to break the downtrend, but you would still need several bars to get to the right of that. Bitcoin futures, just to look at a couple of different instruments to get insight on, what's going on. What's going on with this Bitcoin futures behavior? That do we need to think about 19,000 as something special? Is it just holding temporarily? Here you go. Okay, because this is we've gone through periods like this before, and here's weekly, where we could almost say it's almost reminiscent of somewhere in here. Okay, or somewhere reminiscent in here. Talked about that last week. You're looking for examples from the past, even in the Bitcoin futures. It's something like that, where a lot of people that have recognized this know that there's one or two or three candles that have to come in the flush. That's the ominous angle or ominous feel of why this sideways action for so long, like that now. You could sputter for a while and then do that. Certainly, if you were thinking that was some kind of low, you would need to see development there, pattern, something. There's the daily structure. Okay, and it has flatlined. I mean, amazingly, and how long have we talked about this? Flatlined at 19,416 on the Bitcoin futures chart. And we're trading 19,495. That little bit is significant. And the last HSI that we really came into was like here. So we have this crazy long check back. That's not, I don't know. It really difficult to get your finger on this. It's seems like it's vulnerable to do the flush, where this would just fail. Almost did a couple days ago. So keep an eye on that. I mean, we haven't looked at the Bitcoin futures chart in a while, but all of there's the prior low, and that's 18.6. Certainly, you actually got under 18,000 on the futures a couple days ago quickly. Let me see what that looked like on the 5-minute chart. Yeah, there you go. There's the that looks like capitulation. I mean, that's something within that larger zone is exactly the kind of flush you would want to see to start something, to end what the heck has been going on for 3 months, 4 months. Give it a total flush out, a capitulation. Just a nasty. That's 2,000 lower, and in fact, you really if you look at it from the high to low, it's a pretty firm flush. It's a steady 10% flush in a day. Could that be something that then gets this daily zone to come to life? Because look at that. It's been a long time since we've seen something drag out. I would think you go back to some of the. Here you go. This is. Let's again go back. This is what I'm saying about the sideways action. Last few times we've had it, yeah, we had a bat pattern on the daily. Perfect one too. I mean, look. Type 1, bang. We can't even get out of. We can't even have a type 1. So that's been part of the problem, is that we've completed a pattern and we can't even get out of the zone. Maybe the closest thing I would say is that you go back to 2020, 2019, where crab pattern, beautiful. Yes, you went sideways, but after 20 days, you started making progress up the target 1, target 2. This pattern is done, it's just peculiar, where it's a flat line at 19,416. I mean, it's just a flat line that's not healthy behavior, I would say. Could I be wrong and that just is a scraping price action at the floor? Maybe. I mean, I think you're going to wait, let that give us some kind of signs out of the zone long before I would even get back in. And this is still like all of the crypto and all of the bear trends. You got to resolve that. You have to resolve your downtrend from last November, this 2022 bear market downtrend. You have to get to the right of that. Let me circle back really quick. Here's something to consider too. Okay, Cardano, 37 under 40. This is at the weekly 886. This is your last chance. Last chance for Cardano, and it doesn't look like it really wants to hold. Here we go. So this would be troubling as well. I do want to say this for Cardano 886, yeah, is like 30, 34, no, sorry, 35, 35.50, like that. That's where you are. And again, I want to see this thing pivot off of this area, not spend more than a week or two at this 886. Quick question about the software. Yes, the e-signal, in my opinion, this is the e-signal chart we were just looking at for Bitcoin. That's a Bitcoin futures. Yes, that's the best for, in my opinion, that's the best for futures. It could be argued that the MetaTrader version's best for currencies. I think they're all real good. But I think everyone should start with the trading view, which is this, because it also has so many data feeds, lot and real easy for crypto traders. This is the trading view version, but thanks for asking. Anyway, let's go to Binance Coin, because I think we're still at that point here where we're trying to assess how far is this correction going to go. Will this linger through the end of the year? And this bearish bat pattern on Binance Coin, look what happened. We've been saying 256 all along. It hit 256 again, and we do have the first bullish HSI candle in a while. Probably 6 weeks on the daily. Can we make the progress from that candle to do finally a full retest of the zone? That's possible. That's possible. At least maybe you're on a little bit of an upswing within this range bound pattern, the bat really containing the action over the last 6 weeks. And that should continue, but to the upside. 297 is the XA level, so not surprised, go from target 1 back up to retest XA. Now that you hit it, we brushed it closely. I think a couple of other data feeds did hit it before, but I think now you can say that's definitely type 1 is over. Go for the type 2 return. And where's HSI? Yeah, HSI already on the way back up. I would look for another run to 300, and we'll see what happens. That's Binance Coin. And of course, Ethereum. Look, this just flashed up. Oh, sorry. Hold on. This just flashed back up for Ethereum. Ethereum set up with a Gartley, bullish Gartley in this larger zone. Here's the weekly chart, and we were looking for something like this. Show the daily. Bat pattern, okay? But check out what happened. I'll remove all the arrows. We have this in what I like to call an internal or inside pattern pulling off of not the exact low, but a secondary low, because it matches up best with the B point and with the A, B, C, D conditions, which are there, okay, in this whole structure. So we're looking for, you're looking at a reaction right here on Ethereum. That 1224, basically the 1200 level. There's no confirmation, but just structurally, you're probably doing something like this right now. Ethereum gives you a type 1 bounce and then comes back down. I would think eventually for that 1,000 retest, maybe 958. The fact the software is kicking out a program or a pattern match is great. And then look, this is the back-to-back situation too. We're going to see if this stuff really matters now. And I'll go to one or two altcoins. Thanks, JTogs. JTogs giving us a shout out on the software. Appreciate it. I'll tell you what, JTogs, it's software. It's the setups like this that really show us where the true opportunities are. And the fact that we've got, okay, hey, big pattern, crab pattern, and it's an extension pattern. So, all right, good to set up the initial stabilization and then follow that with a retracement structure like a Gartley. Sure, really nice Gartleys can be strong reversal signals, especially after a long decline. But keep an eye on this. Do we do a type 1 and then a type 2 and then we go? That's what I want to look for. We don't have confirmation yet. So maybe we price react and then come back down the next 2-3 weeks. 2 weeks, not even that. And we have a couple of situations that are, I flashed last week. These would also be last ditch opportunities, but look, they're popping up all over the place. Sandbox. Okay, we know about the big pattern, the big bat pattern. And this follows, speaking of patterns, if you will, patterns of patterns. You get a big pattern, you get the consolidation, then you get the small pattern. The pattern may be a bat, may be a crab, but there's definitely a big pattern. There's a large zone, and now we wiggle our way for 4 months to give us a small pattern from all of the up and down, just from June. We actually, all that zigzag actually ended up printing some pretty smooth, small little patterns where here's Sandbox with HSI triggering yesterday. I want to be paying attention. I would consider that a secondary, tertiary reading within the larger zone, but the fact that now we have a pattern here, all right, can we get a type 1 reaction? Maybe just off of the small pattern itself. And then here's the other thing. The other thing I want to see a couple of individual bullish candles. And I mean like now. I want to see it today. I want to see it tomorrow. I get a couple of small bullish candles that will help the reaction case. So be aware of that. There's a few of them. That one's there. Decentraland, same deal. There's a shark pattern. Okay, it's a small shark. HSI triggered yesterday, and then again, go to the big pattern. Your big pattern on Decentraland. It's there you go. It's back to back. Bat pattern. Now small shark. Okay, confirmation. That is a lot better. If we talked about these patterns, they were starting to flash about 10 days ago. But now that they have another confirmation to the right of them, feel a lot better about it. It's a nice one. That's a nice one. Here's XRP. I think there's a lot of people that are outside the United States that are holding XRP, hoping, and I'm still not completely there as it being a massive move yet. But XRP did have a smaller pattern at the 30-cent level that set this thing off. It's not great. XRP has been pretty frustrating, actually. Check out the weekly. Okay, there's your weekly on XRP, which really the 886 at 37 cents. That's your big number. You're 47 cents now. I wouldn't be surprised if we're back down at 37 a month from now. It's a big pattern. That's going to take a long time. Long time. A couple other ones that have real nice patterns. Here's Monero. I haven't mentioned this in a while, but it's a beautiful butterfly. We haven't seen too many big butterflies, but on a weekly, okay, it's a perfect type 2. Kind of shows us what can happen when you hit the structural ideal for type 1. There's your reaction. Okay, come back down all the way to the hop level. This is where we are on a lot of different patterns daily right now for the markets, tech stocks, and crypto, kind of retesting big zones. And we still need confirmation. This is taking its time. The hop level is 111. Your XA level is 132. Probably retest that. But finding support, you spent the better part of 15, almost 20 weeks now going sideways. But it's not going lower, which is key. Couple more pattern dynamics I wanted to highlight really quick. Things that we have talked about that are following. This stuff takes time, especially when we're on the daily, following patterns daily or weekly setups. But they're great to follow. Here's Chili's. Another one where this was probably one of the best ones of all of the ones from the June-July time period that got to target 2 at 24. We were out at around 18 or so. We had checked back everything around 22, 23. Now you're back to 18, and this is now doing ideal return style price action. It's rolled over. You listen, look at the uptrend. Clearly broke this uptrend, and we are looking for maybe XA level all the way back to 11.3. So again, get it on the radar. Even though 11.3 is a ways away, it is quickly now unfolding back to do the type 2 return after seemingly looked like it was going to be a monster. But again, another one where take a look at the stuff we talked about in June and even into August, where when we bowed out of that. Still taking more time, but following the type 2, type 1, type 2 framework. Yep. Okay. One or two more. Here's another one, pattern into pattern. Crypto.com. Okay, Crypto.com, massive deep crab, essentially 10 cents or 9.6 cents has been the floor on this. Looks scary. It's dragging here like Bitcoin. Last week we got down to, what was that low? Unbelievable, 9.57 cents. We clipped the hop and we bounced. It's almost 15%. I guess that is 15% off of that 9.6 level. And this is one, if I didn't show it to you, it would be tough to see. But it's a type 2 on the alternate bat. So check it out. Here is the completion for the big pattern. But confirmation came in all the way down here in June. All right, that's the first place where the opportunity for the whole pattern sits. Not at 19 cents, but down here, basically 10 cents. This is something we talked about back in June, July, August. And then we formed this other pattern. Now we had a shark. That took you up. Typical reaction. I mean, that's pure reaction behavior. 5 bars, 6 bars, straight up to target 1, and then smacked right back down for the return. Again, when you don't have confirmation, but you get a price reaction, don't be surprised to see that kind of behavior. But now we have confirmation. So, okay, I would say we're in business to the right of that line. What do you have here? That prior low is 9.6. Are we going to get a retest back down there? Retest maybe XA at 9.9 cents. But that's where 2 of 2 with this small pattern in the larger zone could help. And even maybe something to think about here. It's been up. It popped today, 4+. But maybe get this if you haven't been watching that. But think about this as an opportunity for a move to maybe target 2. And that would be it. I mean, it wouldn't be a huge move, but percentage-wise, sure. 3 cents from 11 to almost 14. A bunch of these. Go through your favorite pairs, but recognize the fact that those smaller patterns, yeah, they're significant. I think you can trade them for reactions within these larger zones. There was one other one. I think Ethereum Classic was trying to, yeah, Ethereum Classic might be giving us a potential opportunity here. It's a butterfly, ugly, because it overran. Your initial completion was way back here. But like a bunch of these, they're triggering HSI yesterday. There was the completion for the butterfly, but first confirmation for the opportunity is all the way down here around 22 and change. And I'll look for that where we know ETC can run. If that will trigger something, maybe from here to target 1. That's a new one. That's a new one. I'll follow that. Yeah, we should be following that. Someone hold me to that. Make sure we bring up Ethereum Classic over the next couple of sessions. A lot here. For a reaction, for relief rally, I don't know. Let's take a quick look. Wow. NASDAQ is up 360. Dow's still up 520, and S&P is still up about 92. Okay. Not bad. Are we going to get some kind of October follow-through here, folks? And meanwhile, with Bitcoin not breaking, is that the big news, that Bitcoin did not break yet? I mean, that's my question. Here's S&P, and something before I take off today, I think for S&P, the daily, the weekly, big stuff has come together here. So here's S&P futures on the daily. And we did get confirmation. We did hit we're in a type 2. Let's take away the bearish pattern. Let's look at this. And you guys could tell me, especially those that have really studied the 1-2 framework, We're not surprised to see that behavior and then the type 2 return, but check it out. We hit the zone on the futures chart. We checked back in that crazy capitulation move. Remember what I said about looking for 2 candles. All right, so let's use this new little twist on HSI over the next day or two. There's the confirmation. Okay, start of the harmonic pattern opportunity. It's a big one. It's a reversal opportunity because we're type 2 retest of the initial pattern. We hit the hop level 35.46. I think that's pretty significant with an HSI on that test. All of that's been tested. 35.75 should be that strong support going forward. Should not be breaking underneath there at all. And ideally, target 2. No, I'm not saying that's where we are at. I want to see 2 more days. I want to see a breakout. Sure, is this a 3-day breakout? Was Friday a 3-day breakout? Not really, because he didn't continue higher. You did get above a 3-day range, 1, 2, 3, but that really failed it. You really need to get above Friday's that prior range. Get above 37.32. But there's a lot of things here on this retest that have stabilized. And the other takeaway is, again, look, the signal started all the way back on the 4th, but that's early. And now we're really at the point where if this is an opportunity, it's here. But that took the better part of 7, 10 bars to show itself. And that's why I would want to favor this for short-term reactive bounce. Can we at least get a reactive bounce? We took out the prior lows, but we didn't follow through, and we have a bunch of patterns here. Is it a shakeout? We'll probably know in 2 days. But I'm respecting that hop level on S&P 500. That's probably one of the most powerful charts there are anywhere across the board. I think tomorrow I'll look at the interest rate, because the interest rates chart has to change. Interest rates have to back off. They have to stop going up. Otherwise, if they don't stop going up, then this will just bail out. But that's an ideal type 2. That is an ideal type 2. Dave, actually, you got me, Dave, because the Russell was something. Thanks for mentioning it. Dave's asking, how's the Russell? The Russell's the same deal. Look at this crab pattern, 2 of 2. This might even be more of a sleeper trade where IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF, triggered at 164 even. Now trading 171. But it's still type 1. Come up. Well, actually, wait. It's a type 2. It's a tertiary test of that type 2. There's 1. There's 2. There's the secondary. It's like a tertiary test there of the hop. I say be aware of it. I did want to mention Russell because I saw that over the weekend, but like the rest of them, need to break out. The breakout should get us back to target 2s, or if you're in a type 2, regardless. Okay, it should get you to target 2. So if we break out, look, it's going to take several weeks. Where, think of it this way, we could go into the November midterms in a slight recovery mode because 1 or 2 things seemingly get better, and at least the selling is drying up. That's what this last 10 days of trading looks to me. For now, they can't flush it. They tried to flush these lows, which was basically retesting June lows. If that's S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, doesn't matter. So selling drying up. Will the buying come in? If it does, this is something we'll talk about tomorrow, is we're really close. If this is going to be a recovery bounce, you're going to want to floor it, and I mean floor it, with short-term call options in a way that we probably haven't done so in a year, or maybe since June, but maybe even a potentially stronger situation where you get a sharp reaction. Everything is there. Check back has recovered. We are like one bullish candle away, folks. Let's keep an eye on it. All this other PW, let's do DXY tomorrow. Come back and remind me, because like interest rates, I'm not treating anything other than a reaction, and I think everyone should keep that in mind. If you're a short-term day trader, you're in and out in an hour or 2 or 3 hours at most, if not day trading. If you're a swing trader, I don't see how any move is lasting more than 6 weeks without going back and doing some kind of range-bound retest. That's where I'm saying this is. We could be on a response for a range-bound retest. I'm going to provide more on that HSI checkback. I think there's a couple things that I've been able to dial in recently that are going to make it even clearer. And it's a powerful tool, especially when we use it properly with the pattern zones. All right, come on back tomorrow, 12 noon. And again, get with the software, everybody, especially new people. Don't wait. A lot of people were saying they want to wait to get the software. The software is an education tool as much as an analytical and trading tool. So go to Harmonic Trader, become a basic member, and follow our sessions here. And of course, join the Discord. That's at the bottom of the page. Go to Discord. That's number 4 right here. Join the Discord and join all of the folks that are there. Ask questions. There's people, moderators. Miss Stephanie is there. People will help. Come on back tomorrow, folks. As always, I'm going to say, go get them. Have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern.